Alright, so I know I've been gone for a minute, but to keep it a stack, I'm not gonna apologize for it. Y'all have not missed me, man. Look at these views for real. Y'all probably appreciated I was gone. I'm just playing. But today I want to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, Episode 4 to be specific. I'm just gonna say it straight up. This episode is straight fire, bro. If this episode doesn't win Anime Episode of the Year, bro, believe me, I'm gonna have a problem with the announcers. And no, this episode is not fire just because Maki's slamming out her whole family. And yes, the fact that she is on her Itachi type beat does have something to do with it, but there's still so much more to this episode than what meets the eye. Because this whole episode is about breaking yourself down completely, destroying the version of you that was built by other people, and then being reborn as something stronger, something better. This episode just hits way harder when you look at it from a life lesson perspective instead of just an anime fight or compilation of anime fights. That's coming real clutch for me, who's an artist, getting all my business advice and life lessons from anime. Somebody in anime is spitting game, believe I'm there. I'm not gonna hold you. So yeah, man, sit back, relax, do some chores, or just get some snacks, watch me draw this Maki drawing. But once you're all set, let's talk about this episode and why it's so powerful and what Maki actually represents and the true meaning behind perfect preparation. Let's start off by setting the context. Maki has always been an outsider, both in her own family and also in Jujutsu High. She's part of one of the big three Jujutsu families, but she almost has no cursed energy. And you all know by now that this in the Jujutsu world is basically means, yeah, you don't belong here, buddy. Her own family keeps reminding her she's weak. She's a failure, in their eyes at least. Yeah, they live by the old misogynistic beliefs, so they keep telling her she should know her place. They still move like they're in the 1800s.
Lad, are you dumb? Are you getting rude to man? That's what you get, fam. Push you.
Old rules, old hierarchy, men on top. I even believe like their family motto is something like, if you're not seinen, you're not worthy of being a Jujutsu sorcerer, something like that. Stupid. It's actually crazy, man. This story takes place in 2018 and none of these grown-ass men can think for themselves. So when Maki goes back to the seinen household, this single event isn't just a mission. It's her walking straight back into everything that broke her. I really don't know why Maki wants to become the clan head of this family. Is it even worth it creating a place where your sister can thrive when the roots are rotten? Do you really want to set up house in a tree where the roots are rotten? Like, for real. I honestly never understood why she didn't strive towards creating her own clan from the ground up. And honestly, people like Naoya, he's not just a villain. He's the voice of a system. A system that says this is how things have always been and how they should be. This is what power looks like and this is who matters. And it's sad to see how Maki's own perception of herself and the world around her has been molded by this view. She values strength so highly that she even pushes her own sister to the side, unintentionally though, but in the pursuit of power. So even though she claims to be against the Seinen clan and their views, she's indirectly participating in their way of life. Let's go back to Naoya. Like, every time he insults Maki, he's basically saying, if you don't fit our definition of strength, you are nothing. And I think this leads to something very sad. As I previously mentioned, she probably without knowing it is abiding by their rules by wanting to prove herself that she can become strong. The way he belittles Maki and tells her she doesn't matter if she's not strong, it's honestly something a lot of us can recognize from real life. Like, if you look at the school systems, work culture, social expectations, maybe even your own family, all these systems that I just mentioned, they are based on the idea of, if you don't succeed this way, you failed. So it's not only in the seinen household where you can find previously established values that are still being held to high regards to this day. I really think that's what makes Maki's struggles so relatable. And something that's also very important to Maki's character is her twin, Mai, and also the sacrifice she makes in this episode. In JJK, twins are treated as one person, in terms of cursed energy at least, which means both of them were holding each other back because Maki has a heavenly restriction, her sister or her twin doesn't, but she has a cursed technique. It's very weak because she only has a little cursed energy, a little amount of cursed energy. But Jujutsu views them as one person, so Maki's restriction isn't fully realized. It's pretty, bro, it's communism, okay? I don't know what to tell you. We all share the same shit. Nah, I'm just playing. If you see this emotionally, they are also both stuck. Mai never wanted this life. She never wanted to become a sorcerer. She didn't want power. She just wanted to do chores and live an easy life with her sister. But Maki, on the other hand, Maki wanted to escape. Maki wanted to prove herself to the world, and Mai just wanted things to stay the same. And here's honestly the brutal truth of this episode. Maki could never fully become herself, not while part of her was still tied to the past. And that part was sadly Mai. Mai sacrificing herself isn't just sad, it's symbolic. It's the death of the old identity, the old fear, the part of Maki that still doubted herself. This is the moment where the anime basically says, you cannot evolve without losing something. And yeah, that's uncomfortable, but it's so real. In real life, I've noticed that my life doesn't become easier whenever I add more things to it. Like, let me get into this new trend, let me get this new routine up and running, let me start doing this, let me start doing that. Nah, my life starts to improve when I realize the things I no longer need and I'm able to remove to make more room for more important things. That's sadly how my life up till now has continued to improve. Now, when we come to the meaning of perfect preparation, it equals to letting the old you die. The title for this topic is basically perfect. It's genius. I'm not gonna hold you, that's rare as fuck coming from Gege, because bro here literally said, the decisive battle in the uninhabited demon-infested Shinjuku, part 31. Bro, what? Are you serious, gang? Bro here will sit and study quantum physics to come up with a new curse technique. But then he'll look at you like this when you ask him to come up with a new chapter name. But the title is not about training. It's not about strategy. And it's certainly not about weapons, even though a pretty crazy one is made in this chapter. Perfect preparation is mental. It describes the moment you stop trying to be accepted by a system that was never built for you. You artists, you creatives out there, you can relate to this. Because the feeling of finally coming to this conclusion is what propels most people to start on their creative journey. When Maki wakes up after Mai's death, first she's sad, of course, because it's her twin. She loves her. But after that, she's calm. No hesitation, no doubt, no anger. But it's scary, it's scary as hell. But it's also really awesome because that's what happens when someone finally accepts who they are. When I decided I'm no longer gonna fuck around and I'm just gonna start doing art full time, or I'm just gonna start going towards becoming an artist full time. I didn't feel anger, I felt more calm. I had finally realized who I am, who I've always been. I've always known I have been a bit different. For the first time in a long time, I was completely honest with myself. It might mean I might be shunned by people, by society, by the job market, I don't know who. But back to Maki. Now with her heavenly restriction fully awakened, she becomes something completely different. Not just better in the seinen way, but better in her own way too, in her own sense. Also, here's a fun fact. The reason to why we see geese flying actually has a deeper poetic meaning. Now, peep game real quick. The title of Perfect Preparation is basically referencing an old folk tale called The Goose Who Holds a Reed in Its Mouth. You see, when geese prepare for their long migrational journey to the south, they will carry a reed in their mouths, so they have something to eat along the way. Now, halfway through this journey, they will make a quick pit stop on an island. And on this island, they'll basically place down their reed, so they have it on their way back from the south, whenever that is, maybe like in 6 months' time. So 6 months go by, they fly back north, they'll pick up the reed they left on the island, eat it, and continue flying north. So it's a saying, if you see a goose with a reed in its mouth, that goose is perfectly prepared. But according to this tale, a dead goose leaves behind their reed. So counting how many reeds are left on that island is also how many of the geese that didn't make it. And what is it that Mai gives to Maki in their innate domain? Yes, it's a reed. Mai gives her reed to Maki so she can be perfectly prepared, sacrificing herself and staying behind to die. This is so deep, man. Honestly, I never knew what it was. I thought it was just something she picked off the ground. I'm not gonna hold you. I've been hella confused about this until this day. But yeah, this shit is so deep, man. I almost cried, gang. How dare you say JJK ain't deep? Also, when I saw this specific shot right here, it means a lot more to me now that I know that these geese represent Maki and Mai. Seeing these two geese lacking slightly behind all the others, it's basically how they see themselves in real life compared to all the other sorcerers. Come on, man! This shit means something to me, man! Gege was cooking with this chapter, bro. Maki's whole arc is definitely top 3, gang. But back to the episode. Yes, Mai told Maki to destroy everything. But why is Maki not hesitating anymore? I think even Itachi was hesitating when he wiped out his clan. But when Maki starts sliming out and squad wiping the whole Sennin clan, I found myself asking, isn't this a bit much? Like, couldn't she just defeat them? Like the One Piece treatment? You know when their eyes roll into the back of their head and their mouths are wide open? Like when they hit this one, you know it's over in One Piece. But the thing is, she's not acting out of rage, she's acting out of clarity. The clan already decided she had no place there. They already chose violence, and Maki is just the consequence of their actions. So they had already made the choice for Maki. This is basically what happens when old systems refuse to change, and when people cling to power. You get consequences, you get wiped. To the Sennin family, tradition matters more than humanity, and that's basically what the universe responded to. This episode is basically saying, if you don't adapt, you collapse. And that applies way beyond anime, that applies to life and to my art journey too. I've made so many changes along the way that I know if I didn't make, I would still be stuck at step 1. And you guys have probably seen it in your own lives too. The situations you might find yourselves in might not be fair, but there's one truth to it. Life is really unforgiving when it comes to the topic of adapting. Yes, the world is unfair, it has always been. You can accept it, move on, adapt, and live a somewhat happy life, or you can stay stuck and collapse, like the Sennin clan did. So, what can we actually learn from this episode? At some point in life, you have to let an old version of yourself die. The version of yourself that wanted approval. The version of yourself that tried to fit in to a certain status. The version of yourself that stayed quiet to keep the peace. And also the version of yourself that followed rules that were never meant for you. It's important to know that growth isn't always soft. Sometimes growth is very violent. Sometimes it's very lonely too. And sometimes change costs relationships, sadly. But on the other side of that, there's freedom. And Maki didn't become strong by gaining cursed energy. She became strong by accepting herself fully. So yeah, perfect preparation isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally becoming who you were always meant to be, without apology. And that's why this episode hits so hard. I'd love to know, what part of this episode hit you the most? Was it Maki's transformation? Was it Mai's sacrifice? Or maybe it was just the whole destruction of the Sennin clan. Did you all find that shit fire or what? Let me know in the comments, gang. I would really like to know. And if you enjoy this type of video of me drawing while giving you all a little breakdown of an episode I find important, hey, make sure to subscribe. More is on the way. We're just getting started for real. Now, I hope you all take the lesson from this video and become the fully realized version of yourselves. I truly believe that's why Gege made Maki as a character. As always, gang, much love.